So finally back to the feminism topic. It's been a while, but in part 1, if you'll recall, we defined feminism, what it means, what it really means today. In part 2, we talked about the differences, the death of distinction between the genders, and how it's happening. In parts 3 and 4, we talked about women sold short and manhood criminalized, how feminism has affected men and women individually, as individuals. In this video, we're going to be talking about how it affects society as a whole, so the bigger picture. And of course, part 5 was Confessions of a G.I. Jane, in which I shared some personal experiences with double standards. Alright, I hear from a lot of people who approach the topic of feminism from the viewpoint of feminism at its core is not a bad thing. It was intended as a good thing, but there are some who radicalize it. And I've always been very tempted to take this stance myself. You know, that it can be a necessary and a good thing, but there are some who take it and they run with it, and it's corrupted and poisoned. But I can't say that I believe that. From everything that I have studied so far, from just the observations I've made, the little living that I have done, my observation is that it's the other way around. Feminism at its core, what it really means today, it's a radical concept, because the majority of actual feminists, active feminists, who know what they believe and why, and work to promote the feminist agenda, are radical ones. Radical meaning that they're not pro-family, they don't really believe in freedom of choice for women because they aren't okay with the idea of a woman staying home if she wants to and raising her children, and sometimes secretly and often not so secretly, anti-male. So what are some of the results of the feminist agenda being carried out in this country and in the Western world? I don't know about you, but when I look around I see mass confusion. And men and women, it seems to me, don't really know what it is to be their gender. I mean, how do you really define it anymore? What does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a woman? Doesn't society tell us that it's up to your interpretation? Is that right? Should the definition of anything really be up to however the individual decides to define it? Men's and women's roles are being clouded. There's a book called Grave Influence by Brannon House, 21 Radicals and Their Worldviews That Rule America from the Grave. His book is about radical worldviews perpetuated by radicals long dead but not gone, living on in areas of society which they've infected. Marx, of course, being one of them, and many others. Anyway, he makes a quote about masculinity. Indeed, the average American male has become a feminized wimp. Many may still hunt, fish, and watch football, but that's only a facade of masculinity. Tough guys, quote, end quote, who refuse to lead, to boldly speak truth, to discipline their children, or to take charge, are merely whitewashed wimps. All too many men today shun leadership positions that real men would grab a hold of. Likewise, femininity is falling apart. In fact, it's quite under attack. Women are acting less and less like women. The statistics are showing that they're more prone to behavior once attributed mostly to males. Cases of female violence and pedophilia are rising. And many of the young women who do manage to avoid falling into the feminist trap and becoming a feminazi are often pursuing a counterfeit version of femininity, just as young